My child, open your heart in this very moment, for I am placing before you a sacred message meant especially for you. Do not let the hurry of life cause you to pass over what I am whispering into the deepest place of your heart. This is not an ordinary call, nor is it a passing comfort that appears for a moment and fades away. I am touching you at the exact time when you need to be reminded that you have never been abandoned, never been forgotten, and never walked alone through long nights without my loving eyes watching over you. A movement is beginning in your life, a change you have not yet fully seen with your eyes, but your heart can feel it like a gentle wind announcing that a new season is drawing near. I have seen the silent battles you had to fight when no one was beside you. I have seen the moments when you tried to keep a calm appearance before others. But when you returned into silence, you no longer had the strength to pretend to be strong. I have seen the tears falling in the dark, the sighs held back, and the prayers you could not yet form into words. You thought no one heard, but I heard. You thought no one understood, but I understood. You thought that pain remained only inside a closed room, but it touched my heart. Not one of your tears has fallen without being seen by me. Not one moment of your endurance has been considered small before me. There were seasons when you wondered why everything kept being delayed. You saw doors almost open and then close again. Opportunities seemed to come near and then suddenly move away. Promises that gave you hope and then left you waiting through another stretch of road. There were moments when you thought you were stuck, that life kept turning in the same circle, and that no matter how much you tried, an invisible wall still stood before you. But my child, I want you to know that delay is not always denial. There are times when I hold you back to protect you. There are times when I allow a door to close because there is no peace for you behind it. There are times when I slow your steps to prepare your heart for something greater, cleaner, steadier, and more aligned with my purpose. Today, I step into the place where you have grown weary to tell you that the barriers that have weighed upon you do not have the right to stand there forever. The things that once made you feel breathless are being shaken. The burdens that once caused your shoulders to sink are being lifted from you layer by my hand. The doors that once stood silent before your prayers are being touched by me in my timing. You do not need to use your own strength to break every wall. You do not need to prove to the world that you are worthy to move forward. I am the one who opens the way for you. I am the one who knows the path, even when all you see before you is darkness. I am the one who can make streams flow in dry places, and make what seemed like an ending become a new beginning. A flow of restoration is moving toward your life. But I want you to understand that this restoration is not only something happening outwardly. I do not only want to change the circumstances around you, I want to heal what has been worn down within you. I want to restore your faith, renew your courage, and return to you the peace that painful seasons tried to take away. I want to touch the places you closed because of disappointment, the dreams you placed into silence because you were afraid of being wounded again, the hopes you told yourself not to think about so you would not hurt more deeply. I am reopening within you the ability to believe that good things can still come, that your future has not been sealed shut, and that I am still writing the rest of your story with mercy. Do not close your heart tightly just because you have been disappointed before. Do not pass over my word just because you have heard many promises from people and did not see them come true. I am not like the voices that have made you weary. I do not come to stir up fear, nor do I come to force you to believe in panic. I come as a kind father, placing my hand upon your heart and calling you back to trust. Give me this moment, not because I need your time to become more powerful, but because you need a quiet space to realize that I am still near. When you pause before me, the noise within you begins to grow still. When you open your heart, peace has room to enter. When you speak to me with sincerity, even if it is only a very small word, I still hear it as a precious call. You are standing before a sacred moment, not necessarily measured by minutes and seconds as human beings count time, but recognized by the awakening within your heart. There are moments that look very ordinary outwardly, yet in the hidden realm, they are doors. There are words that seem like simple reminders when heard in passing, but when received by faith, they become seeds of a new season. There are changes that begin so quietly that others have not yet noticed. Yet you know that something inside you has been lifted. This is often how I work, gently, deeply, at the right time, without needing noise to prove my power. So, my child, Krazen, breathe more slowly and let your heart become tender before my presence. Place before me every delay, every barrier, every fear, and every unanswered question. Place before me the old tears, the long nights, the prayers that have not yet shown results, and the dreams you once dared not mention again. I do not take lightly anything you bring. I do not rebuke you because you are tired, nor do I turn away because you once doubted. I am calling you to rise, not through forced striving, but through the support of grace. I am telling you that this story is not over. What you thought had been buried can still be brought back to life by me in a more beautiful form. What you thought had been lost can still be replaced by something deeper. What you thought was too late can still arrive on time in my hand. Respond to me with a trusting heart. Let your Amen rise, not only as a sound upon your lips, but as an open door within your heart. Let it become your answer that says you still believe. Even though you have not yet seen everything, you are still willing. Even though you have grown tired before, you are still open. Even though you have been wounded before, I am nearer to you than your pain, greater than every barrier before you, and more faithful than every promise you have ever heard from the world. And in this very moment, I am leading you out of the old heaviness and into a new place of peace, where you will recognize that I heard, I saw, I preserved, and I am still bringing good things to pass for you according to my perfect timing. You have walked through a long season covered with disappointment, exhaustion, and silences that made your heart feel as though it no longer had enough strength to hope again. I know there were times when you looked around and saw others seemingly moving forward, opening doors, stepping into new things, while you felt as though you were still standing in an old land, where promises had not yet taken form and prayers still remained in waiting. You wondered why you tried and still felt heavy, why you believed and still faced trials, why you prayed and still did not see the answer appear before your eyes. But my beloved child, do not think the silence of a season is proof of my absence. There are times when I work more deeply than you can recognize. and there are miracles prepared in silence before they appear brightly upon the path of your life. I heard every whisper of yours, even the words you did not have enough strength to speak aloud. I saw your lips tremble as you tried to pray through tears. You saw the nights when you turned your face toward the darkness to hide your weariness. You saw the moments when you told yourself you had to be strong, even while inside you were shaking. No sigh of yours has fallen without my knowing. No tear of yours has been forgotten. No endurance of yours has ever been considered small before my eyes. You thought you were fighting alone, but I was there, quietly upholding you through every breath, keeping you from collapsing when you thought you could not take even one more step. My child, trials do not come to destroy you, but to refine the precious thing I have placed within you. I did not allow the fire to pass through your life in order to burn away hope, but to make the strength, endurance, and trust within you shine brighter than you ever knew they could. There are great blessings that cannot be placed into the hands of a heart still bound by old fear. There are wide doors that can only open when you have learned to stand firm against the wind. Therefore, do not despise the difficult season you have just passed through. It was there that I taught you to pray more deeply, to love more wisely, to be silent at the right time, and to recognize that delay is not always rejection. Sometimes delay is my hand arranging everything into its proper place, so that when you enter, you will not only receive the blessing, but also be mature enough to preserve it. The adversary once wanted to sow into your heart the thought that you had failed, that the past had sealed your future, and that your former stumbles would forever decide who you are. But I tell you that voice has no right to rule your life. What has passed is not strong enough to erase what I have written upon your journey. Old mistakes cannot be stronger than my mercy. Seasons of disappointment cannot be greater than the restoration I am opening. I do not call you by the name of failure, nor do I look at you through what others have said about you. I call you a beloved child, preserved, lifted up, and led into a new season by my grace. Right now, I am covering your home with my gentle yet powerful protection. I am guarding your family from the things you see and also from the things you have not yet seen. I am placing peace at your doorway, light upon your path, and clearing away every hidden obstacle that once made your steps heavy. There are things you no longer need to carry by yourself. There are battles you no longer need to withstand by your own strength. I am going before you, standing behind you, and surrounding you with protection that no dark intention can cross unless I allow it. Those who once spoke unkind words behind your back, those who wore smiles outwardly while keeping impure intentions in the dark, I have seen them all. You do not need to prove everything. You do not need to chase after every rumor, every misunderstanding, every distorted glance to defend yourself. I know the truth. I know your heart. I know what was spoken when you were not present. And I also know what was hidden beneath the gentle appearance on the outside. So let your heart rest. What is false cannot stand forever before my light. What is deceitful cannot continue to hold influence over your life when I have begun to untie it. I will reveal what needs to be revealed, close the doors that need to be closed, and separate you from connections that are no longer worthy to step deeply into the peace I have reserved for you. But my beloved child, Do not let your heart be drawn into a desire for revenge or the need to prove who is greater. I do not call you into bitterness. I call you into freedom. When you try to answer every wound by yourself, you keep yourself tied to that wound longer. But when you place it into my hands, you are freed from the burden of having to control the outcome. My righteousness is not as slow as you think, and my protection is not as weak as fear wants you to believe. I know when to intervene, what needs to be exposed, who needs to be removed from your path, and how to return to you the peace that past seasons tried to steal. So be still in me, not with the stillness of helplessness, but with the stillness of one who knows they are protected. Hold firmly to faith, not because everything before your eyes is already perfect, but because I am still working behind what you cannot yet see. Rest in my peace, for I am building around you a radiant stronghold, stopping the arrows of jealousy, envy, misunderstanding, and injury. Not every word aimed at you will be able to reach you. Not every scheme against you will be able to take form. When I place my protecting hand upon you, darkness must retreat. And when I open the way for you, no opposition can close what I have ordained to open. Now, what I invite you to do is not to worry more, but to let go. Release the burdens you have carried for too long. Release the need to understand everything immediately. Release the exhaustion of always trying to stand by yourself in every storm. Place back into my hands the pains, the questions, the people who hurt you, and the things you cannot repair on your own. One small act of agreement can become a sign that you are ready to entrust everything to me. And when you entrust it, you will find your heart lighter, your eyes clearer, and your steps steadier. For I do not only protect you from the outward things that oppose you, I also heal the weariness within you. So you no longer live like someone under siege, but like a beloved child, preserved and led into restoration by my own merciful hand. I am also touching your body and your mind in this very moment with a gentleness that only love from me can bring. I know the anxieties that have quietly clung to you like a thick fog that would not lift. I know the nights when you lay down but your heart stayed awake. The mornings when you opened your eyes and felt as though your strength had been drained before the new day even began. I know there are sorrows you cannot name, wounds that have lived deep within you for so long that you thought you had to learn to live with them forever. But my child, I do not come to blame you for having been weak. I come to lift you up, to place my healing hand upon the places you once hid, and to remind you that no part of you has been forgotten by me. There were days when you tried to smile before the world. I tried to keep a steady appearance so no one would see the collapse happening inside. You learned to say, "I am fine." Even when your heart was shattered into many pieces, you became used to wiping away your own tears, comforting yourself, and moving forward in silence because you feared that if you spoke, no one would truly understand. But I understood you before you spoke. I heard even the sighs you considered meaningless. I saw the weariness in your eyes, the trembling in small decisions, and even the quiet fear that you would never return to the person you once were. Today, I want you to know that you are not only seen, but held by a love that has not changed. I am breathing renewal into every rhythm of your life. The places once paralyzed by fear will gradually be awakened by peace. The thoughts that once spun in darkness will be led into the gentle light of truth. The voice that once said you were not good enough, not strong enough, not lovable enough, not valuable enough, will have to retreat before my loving word over you. You are not the sum of the wounds that have passed through your life. You are not the name of failure, nor are you the shadow of the words others once planted inside you. You are a beautiful work in my hands, formed with tenderness, preserved by mercy, and loved with a love that needs no condition to begin and has no limit to end. So do not quickly conclude that the heavy days will last forever. Do not let old seasons convince you that the future is only a repetition of the past. I am opening within you a new sky, where your breath will no longer be choked by anxiety, where your sleep will no longer be awakened by sharp memories, where your smile will no longer be a mask to hide pain, but will return like a clear stream flowing from a deep place that has been healed. You will know again what it means for your heart to feel light. You will feel calm again when you lay your head down to rest. You will find joy again in simple things you once no longer had the strength to receive. But to enter that restoration, you must learn to let go of the ashes you have stood staring at for too long. I know there were things you once cherished, people you once trusted, connections you once thought would walk with you to the end of the journey. When they broke, you wondered whether you had done something wrong, whether you were lacking so much that you were not worthy to remain in someone's heart. My child, not every departure is a loss. There are things I allow to close, not to make you lonely, but to protect you from what no longer fits the calling ahead. There are doors that close, not because I reject you, but because I am keeping you from rooms where there is no longer life for you. Therefore, do not look back with regret, as though every good thing has been left behind. What belongs to the old season, place it in my hands. The broken promises, the conversations left without reply, the names that once made your heart ache when remembered, give each one back to me. You cannot receive the new while your hands are still gripping the fragments of what has passed. You cannot step into a spacious land while your heart is still pitching its tent beside old ruins. I am not telling you to forget as though you were never hurt, but I am teaching you to release it so the wound no longer rules over you. Letting go does not mean you have lost. Letting go is a sign that you trust I still have something better ahead. In this cleansing, I am preparing timely encounters for you. I am bringing people who carry peace, hearts that do not come to drain you, but to uphold you with sincerity. I will place around you clean connections, people who know how to honor your journey, who can see the value in you without taking advantage of your softness. Relationships led by me will not require you to lose your peace in order to be loved, nor will they force you to make yourself small in order to be accepted. They will help you remember that true love does not suffocate. True companionship does not exhaust you, and true support always draws you closer to the light. In time, you will realize that the criticism, the envious looks, and the petty voices that once hurt your heart will no longer have the right to touch the place I have restored. Not because the world suddenly becomes gentler, but because you have been lifted beyond the place where those things once caused you to fall. When you know you belong to me, you will no longer have to chase the approval of those who do not understand your value. When you clearly hear me calling you precious, You will no longer be easily crushed by the rejection of the world. I am teaching you to stand firm in peace, not through pride, but through a gentle trust that you have been preserved by me. Walk forward, my beloved child, not with the haste of someone trying to prove something, but with the steadiness of one who knows they are being led. Move through the days ahead with a heart that is soft but not weak, forgiving but not self-abandoning, loving but not clinging to the things from which I have separated you. I will be with you in every small step, every quiet decision, every moment when you choose peace instead of fear, hope instead of giving up, and trust instead of returning to old pain. What I am doing within you is not a passing change, but a deep, lasting, holy work filled with love. Do not let anyone shake your faith during this time, because what I am doing within you is sacred, personal, and must be covered with peace. My beloved child, there are miracles that are not born in noise, and they do not grow beneath the curious eyes of everyone. There are seeds I place in your heart that must be kept in the hidden place, watered by quiet prayer, and protected from doubtful words, hasty talk, and eyes not pure enough to understand what I am forming. Not everything I do within you needs to be explained immediately to others. Not every spiritual movement needs to be announced before its season of blossoming arrives. The more precious something is, the more carefully it must often be guarded in stillness. So, it is not pulled from my covering too soon. I know there are times when you want to share, when you want to tell someone that you are sensing a change, that your heart is beginning to feel lighter. That hope is returning after long days of weariness. I do not blame you for that, because when someone is touched, they often want to speak of the joy beginning to grow inside. But my child, learn the wisdom of keeping a sacred part between you and me. Not everyone who hears what I am doing will rejoice for you. Not everyone who sees your seed will know how to bless it as it grows. There are people who may not intend to harm you, yet their doubt can still become a cold wind blowing upon the flame of faith that is just being rekindled. There are words that may sound reasonable at first, yet make your heart sink and cause you to ask whether you have hoped too much. So I tell you to keep this in your heart, not because you must be afraid, but because you need to protect the peace I am sowing into you. The world often wants to see before it believes, to measure everything by visible results, and to explain everything by what human eyes can grasp. But the way I move does not always follow the path that human beings easily understand. I can begin in silence. I can place a very small shift within your thoughts before outward circumstances begin to move. I can soften a long-standing fear before I open a new door. I can heal a hidden memory before I give you a public testimony. So when others do not yet understand, do not rush into doubt. When they ask you with skepticism, do not let your heart be pulled away from trust. When they say that nothing can change, remember that they only see what has passed. But I see what I am doing. Your heart senses this truth, does it not? There is a sudden stillness moving through you, as though the place that once was noisy within your heart is being covered by a veil of peace. There is a gentle warmth spreading through you, not necessarily great or dazzling, but enough to remind you that you are not alone. There are moments when you breathe in and feel you are no longer being choked as before. There are times when you cannot explain why, but your heart suddenly wants to believe one more time. This is not meaningless imagination. It is the gentle sign of my presence, a reminder that I am near, that I do not only hear you from afar, but walk with you right where you are standing. I do not need to shake the whole sky to prove that I am with you. Sometimes I come like a very soft breeze, yet it is enough to quiet the storm within your heart. I want you to nurture this miracle through quiet prayer. Let your private moments with me become the place where that seed grows. Bring before me your newly awakened hopes, the fears that still remain, the unanswered questions, and even the smallest stirrings you do not yet know how to name. Speak to me with honesty. Honor me not only with grand words, but by keeping your heart from confusion, your mouth from self-denial, and your thoughts from returning to old conclusions. Every time you choose trust instead of doubt, that seed is watered. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, its roots go deeper. Every time you choose to wait with tenderness, what I am doing within you is protected from the haste of the world. My beloved child, I am here, right beside you. I do not begin a work within you only to abandon it halfway. I do not awaken hope within you only to disappoint you once more. I do not place this peace in your heart like a passing ray of light and then allow darkness to swallow it. What I begin, I know how to nurture. What I sow, I know how to protect. What I promise, I know how to fulfill. You may not yet see the full result, but you are in my process. There are things that have already begun moving in the hidden place. And when the right time comes, they will appear in a way that makes you recognize that my hand has been working quietly for a long time. Therefore, stand firm. Do not let the doubts of others become the voice within your heart. Do not let the slowness of the process make you think the miracle has stopped. Do not let one weary day cause you to deny the peace I have given. Keep this in your heart like a flame sheltered from strong wind. Pray, honor me, listen, and continue walking with tenderness and wisdom. I am bringing to completion everything I have begun within you. I am closer than you think, gentler than your fear, stronger than every doubtful word, and more faithful than every season of waiting. What I am doing will not be stolen, will not be extinguished, and will not be abandoned. It will grow in peace, be covered by grace, and at the right time, it will blossom like a testimony that you have been preserved by me throughout the entire journey.